Welcome to the Dubcast with Dubside. This is a special guest edition of the Dubcast. Interview with Petrus and Irene of Petrus Kajaks in South Sweden. Good friends of mine that we first met in episode 42. I asked Petrus about his rental operation and the classes he does building wooden kayaks, the town and the lake where he's located, his house on the other side of town, their involvement in the Scouts where they met, the Swedish right of public access, which is part of Swedish law which allows you to camp on other people's property and cross their property. And I interviewed Irene separately, talked about her running the rental business, and I mentioned the train ordeal I had on the Swedish rail system. We talked about a robot lawnmower that she named after me. And finally, she demonstrated her ability to speak Swedish and German. 2024. This runs a little over 40 minutes.
And I'm at Petrus Kajaks. And I'm talking to Petrus. How's it going?
It's okay. It's summer and the sun is shining.
Yeah. So we're on Lake, what's it called?
Summen is the lake.
Lake Summen, yeah.
And the 20th biggest lake in Sweden. 132 square kilometer.
All right. And you renting things to go out?
We start with kayaks 2005, and now we have kayaks, Canadians, boat with Indian, and a sailing boat.
All right. A Canadian is what we would call
the open one, the big
canoe. That's what in American
canoe.
I would call it a canoe. And you said there's another kayaks, Canadians, and what else?
We have real kayaks.
Real kayaks. Yeah.
And then Canadian canoe.
Okay.
And then we have motorboats. And one sailing boat also.
Okay. And so, what do people usually like to rent first?
I think they usually start with a Canadian canoe.
Okay.
And then a lot of people is still a little bit, they want to try kayaks, and it's not usually inland that we have kayaks in Sweden. So
they're more on the coast.
You usually rent them at the coast.
Okay. And so, besides the rental here in the summertime, you also make kayaks for people.
Yeah, we build wooden kayaks.
Wooden kayaks.
With plywood and epoxy and fiberglass.
So people come and sign up for you to help them build in your place?
Yeah, we have classes in 1 week. So they come here and build their own kayak in 1 week.
Okay. And you've been building Bjorn Thomason's Black Pearl kayak and his other kayaks for a long time?
Yeah, the plywood kayak starts with Black Pearl.
Okay.
And then we make another one we called idyllic, and Björn also make the plans for that one.
Okay.
And then we have Frey, which also made of Björn Thomason.
Yeah. And so it takes a week to make one of those?
Yeah.
How long is a day of work?
Yeah, you don't need a book in the evening.
You don't need
You
a book.
sleep anyway.
Okay.
So it's quite long days, but 8-10 hours something.
Yeah. What's the hardest part in the process? What do people have trouble with?
That people have trouble with is to put this spackle inside.
The spackle inside the kayak?
Yeah, that's the hardest point, because there you have to have a good feeling in your hands for putting this in.
So you have to put it inside the kayak after the kayak is all together?
No, when we build kayaks, you start with the deck.
Okay.
And make that on forms, and glue it together with hot glue and some super glue.
Yeah.
And then we put epoxy inside and put this, I don't know the English word for it, but we call it spackle on Swedish.
Spackle, we have a word in English, but or
kind
some
of
sort of
plastic padding.
Plastic. Yeah. Okay.
And then we put fiber and all of that in one time.
Okay.
So the first day you have built the deck, and then next day you go on with the hull.
So are you like overnight the stuff is drying, the glue and
Yes,
things?
then the epoxy is dry in the morning.
Okay.
And then we built the hull, same way.
Right.
Put all the pieces together with hot glue and some super glue, and epoxy, spackle, and fiber.
All right. So these pieces of wood, you've already cut those out? That's what they buy?
Nowadays we cut them with a CNC machine.
CNC, okay. But you've done all that cutting ahead of time before they come to the class?
From the beginning we cut them by hand with a Japanese saw.
In the early days you say you cut them by hand? Okay.
When we start with black pearl.
Okay.
Quite many years ago.
All right. Then you got a CNC machine.
Yeah, so now we cut it with electronic.
Yeah. Now, is that any faster than doing it by hand?
It's faster and it will be more perfect, more precise.
Yeah. Okay. If you don't have really precise pieces, then when you glue them together, you got edges that stick out and funny
Then you
things.
use gaffer.
You use what?
Tape.
Tape. Yeah.
With the duct tape or something to put around all the what is the name? Joints.
The joints. Yeah.
And then you put fiber and spackle and epoxy inside anyway.
So is there a lot of sanding you have to do?
Yeah, and then when you are finished with the inside, then you have 2 days to make the walls inside and make stuff on the deck and put hatches in and all this cockpit ring. And when you put it together, then we sand maybe 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah.
Sometimes more.
Is that?
And then we put the fiber on the outside also.
Are you sanding by hand with sandpaper? Or you have like
No, we have sanding machines.
sanding machines. Okay. But even with that, it's like 4 or 5 hours to do the whole thing? Yeah. Okay.
And it's also different. Some goes faster and some is slower.
Yeah. Why would it be slower? Is it different people or different?
Different people work different fast.
Okay. Yeah.
And also have maybe different ideas how it should look when it's finished.
Yeah. And so, is painting it a certain color come after that?
Yeah, after a week when the epoxy is hard, then you can sand it and put some more epoxy for the finish, and then clear lac or paint.
Okay. So what is a one workshop to make a kayak cost in what, Swedish kroners, I guess?
Today it costs 22,000 Swedish crowns.
Okay.
But then it's include everything except the paint and the lines to the kayak. But
Okay.
it's include also the food you need for a week.
Oh, so you feed people while they're here?
Yes, of course. Otherwise they'd be angry and make bad work.
Okay. Uh-huh. So like kayaks like Bjorn Thomason's Black Pearl and those ones, do you rent those out here as well, or you have different kayaks to rent?
Yes, we have some wooden boats for renting.
Okay.
But most of them is PE plastic or fiberglass.
How do you know if somebody has enough skill to use the wooden ones?
That you never know, you see it afterwards.
Yeah? Do have people gotten
If they are wet in the head, then we know that they got a little bit too nice kayak for paddling.
Yeah. All right. So I've been coming here for, well, I haven't been here the last 5 years, but before that I've been here at least 10 times, I think, going.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. And
in that time we have a weekend with classes and different things, but after the corona we haven't started that up again.
Yeah, yeah. But remember we used to do the rolling demonstrations here and have Bjorn or somebody narrating with a microphone, and I would be doing things on the water.
And Johan, Wild.
Johan Wild, yes. Yeah, that was very good.
But that was nice, and also a lot of guitar playing in the evening at the barbecue.
Yeah, all right, yeah.
That was nice. But maybe one day it comes up again.
All right, yeah, we'll see.
We will see. Maybe next year we celebrate 20 years in the business that year.
Well, I'll see. It might work out for next year. I'm hoping to go to Greenland again next year, and so after Greenland I come through Scandinavia, so I may well be here. What I haven't been able to do this time here, but I enjoyed very much a few times back, is going out overnight and camping on some of the little islands you have here. It's a very nice lake for that.
Yeah, and a lot of people have realized that it works. So we rent out boats for a week for paddling on our lake here.
So when they go out for a week, it could take them a week to go all the way around parts of the lake and still not get.
You have to use more than 1 week
to see the whole lake.
Yeah, I have sailed on the lake for 45 years, and I still find good spots.
Really? Wow. So, are there other lakes where people do this that are maybe more crowded than this one, or is this how does that work? Is this
most of the island is very, very silent.
Here, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there is no roads close to the lake, and there is some parts of the lake is very much used for motorboats, but you don't have to choose them.
Right. How clean is the water?
It's drinkable.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Even with all the motorboats, you can go out and drink.
It gives just a little bit taste of gas.
Oh yeah? Not everywhere, but some places?
Yeah, some places is more used for.
But you go out in the middle and you can drink it.
Yeah, everywhere.
Yeah. Wow. Very nice. So in the wintertime, this all turns to ice?
Yes, usually it ice. The last years has been less ice than what it was earlier.
Right.
But usually there is ice.
Right. So you close down for the winter?
The renting close the last of September. And then we go into the workshop over the winter for building kayaks.
All right. So the rental here, there's a whole big camping area. People come with their campers and things.
Yes.
Attached to this area. Are most of the people renting kayaks camping out there, or people just come from?
It's both.
Both?
A lot of people just arrive from home and come here and put all the stuff in a boat and then out on the lake for a week. And other people comes from the camping site and visit us for a couple of hours. And also the people from the neighborhood here comes for renting boats from us.
Okay, yeah.
Both for a week or for a couple of hours.
Yeah. How rough can the water get out with the weather, with wind and stuff on the lake?
It can be rough because some areas is quite big and the wave goes up to half meter something.
Yeah. Have you had to go out and rescue people sometimes?
That happens every year.
Yeah?
Sometimes from the water, and sometimes they realize by themselves that this is too much for us, so we call, and then we pick them up with our boats.
They call you on their cell phone and tell you they need to come, you need rescue. All right, that's another service that you provide.
Yeah, that's also service.
So, but you haven't had any really bad accidents. Nobody's died out there for
No,
your kayaks.
not yet, and I hope that not happens. And we got luck. We have some accidents every year, but not with bad results.
Yeah.
Usually there is other boats out on the lakes and can pick them up, or they call from the water and we help them, or they dial 112 and firefighters come with their boat.
Oh yeah, okay. So this town we're on the edge of it by the lake here called Tronos. Tell me about what's special about Tronos.
It's a small neighborhood, 15,000 people lives here, and you have what service you need. And from the beginning, we have a lot of. They made skin and clothes of skin here, but that's
like
gone.
Fur clothing.
Yeah,
Okay, that's gone.
that's gone because all this military vegans, people don't have courage enough for wearing clothes of skin anymore.
You mean like the protests from the animal
Yeah.
rights people? Yeah. Okay.
And maybe also a little bit of the. It has been expensive to have clothes of skin,
Yeah.
and they
So-
made them cheaper in other countries.
But is the main thing in town the tourism or what else?
No, it's a small industry town.
Happens? Yeah.
We have, some bigger or smaller industries. For example, Bosch have a big factory here with 900 workers, and
Okay.
we have some other metal and wood industry.
Yeah.
We have quite a lot of industry for building furnitures.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Yeah. So how is it that you started with kayaking? Or started doing this business? What drew you to kayaking?
From the beginning, we were out on a renting station to check how work is and is it fun to paddle in kayak. And after half day, we realized that this is our thing.
Okay.
And then we start to search for a cheap kayak.
Okay.
But the cheapest way must be to build it by yourself. So then I found the homepage from Björn Thomasson, and then we start to build our own kayaks from the beginning. And then I run classes for building wood strip kayaks, and I build one every year by myself, and after a while we have some. So then we start wondering, what should we use them for? We only need one for ourselves. So then we start renting out kayaks. So from the beginning we have half wood kayaks and half plastic. And then, as always, shit happens. So now we run this company for full time.
So how many kayaks do you have out here, would you say?
I think around 30. I'm not
And
sure.
how many canoes?
And 26 aluminum canoes.
Yeah, all right.
And then we have 5 motorboats and 1 sailing boat also.
Yeah. And then you've got your sailing boat, right?
Yeah, then we have a bigger one for ourselves.
Yeah. So in the wintertime, in the summertime, you have a very nice house that I'm staying at back on the other side.
But it's quite
Clovis.
alone, I think,
Yeah,
in the house.
because in the summertime,
Then we live
eat
in the
down here,
sailing
you
boat.
sleep down here, you work down here,
Yeah.
and you have your workshop in town, but there's not much reason to go back to the house.
No, not in the summer.
Yeah.
And Dubside lives there, so and he wants to have silent around him.
I don't have to have silence. It is a nice quiet house. Yeah.
And we also use it for in the winter time for the building classes. They can.
People stay there.
Yeah, they stay in our house
Yeah.
for this week.
So you used to have lots of kids in that house that they all grew up.
Yes, from the beginning we have our kids there. I have 4 kids and my wife have 2 kids.
Yeah.
So it was usually 5 or 6 kids living in the house.
All right. Yeah. So I'm understanding that you met Irene through Scouts, Boy Scouts.
Yeah, we were leaders in Girl and Boy Scouts.
Yeah.
So that was one of the points that we connect.
Yeah.
And after a while, she moved to this town, and we go on with this scouting thing. And then the company is too big for have a lot of time for scouts. So now we have finished that.
Yeah. Yeah. So do the Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts do things together, like camping things, or how does that work?
that usually works with no problem.
Okay.
And
In
we are still scouts in the heart, so there comes usually 3, 4, 5 groups with scouts from Germany.
Okay.
And we try to take care of them as good as we can.
All right. Were there other things that you did besides camping, or what other sort of activities did you have your scouts doing?
I really don't know what they do nowadays, but we learn about the nature. That's what we try to learn to our scouts when we work with it. But nature and how it works together, and how we should take care of the nature.
Yeah.
And how we should survive in the nature.
Mm-hmm. So there's a thing here in Sweden. In English, it's called the right of public access. I forget what the Swedish word is, where you can go on other people's private property, right?
Yeah, we have Allemansrätten in Sweden.
Say that again?
Allemansrätten.
Allemansrätten.
So everyone is, you can use the nature, so you are allowed to cross over other properties, and you are allowed to tent one night on our others' properties, and you also can, you can use the water everywhere as much as you want, but you are not allowed to walk in private areas around houses.
Like
and so.
Somebody's actual house, you can see they're living right there, but if it's just a field or woods or something, you can go through.
If you're in the forest, that's no problem. And there is maybe the point of this Allemansrätten is that you're not allowed to destroy or disturb others, not the nature and not other people.
Okay. So it's not like anybody can just go anywhere. There's some responsibility to take care of things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to take care of the nature.
Yeah.
And also be careful with it, and be careful with others' properties, so we can have this for the future.
Yeah. So they don't have that in Denmark, do they?
I don't know how it works in Denmark, but I know that in Norway you're allowed to walk over others' properties.
Okay. Yeah.
And there is, I think they have something in Germany, but there you are not allowed to walk in the forest. You have to follow tracks and so in the forest.
Uh-huh. So around this area you have moose?
Yes, there is some left.
Yeah?
But they are shy, so you don't see them so often.
Yeah?
But we have them here, and we have other animals also, but moose is the biggest one here.
Right, but what other animals do you have?
Deers and
bears?
Deers,
Deer.
and you have bears in the north, middle of Sweden. You have bears, and then you have reindeers, maybe ren on Swedish.
What is it?
It's a small animal that they have in the north. It looks like a very small moose.
Oh, okay. Yeah, one of those four-legged things.
Yeah, four-leg with they have quite big feet, that animal.
Yeah. All right.
And they eat from the nature as all other animals.
And there, in this lake, there's a whole lot of fish. Is that?
Yeah, we have the usual in-lake fishes in the lake, and also some salmon fishes.
So a lot of people come here to fish?
Yeah, they try anyway.
Yeah.
A lot of people try, and not so many people got fish.
Yeah. What was it yesterday? Somebody had a big long
find
pike.
some pikes. One yesterday and one today, so there is pike in the lake actually.
Yeah.
And there is also barge and some other special fishes for sweet water.
Yeah. All right. So if I was going to come here from another country or something, tell me your website so I can look it up.
We have petruskajak.com, as it sounds.
All right. How do you spell that?
Petrus P-E-T-R-U-S.com.
.com. PetrusKajak.com.
Yes.
Oh, there's no at. Yeah, okay. PetrusKajak.com. All right. Very good. Well, thanks for talking to me and being on the Dubcast with Dubside.
Thank you for talking with you, Dubside.
I'm always delighted to come here and see you.
And you're always welcome.
Yes, well, I appreciate that.
Kayaks, canoes, motorboats, sailing boat.
Uh-huh.
I'm the boss here, Petrus say.
Okay, yes. So on a typical day, like you start, like you open at what time?
9 o'clock.
All right, and what has to be done to get ready to open?
Take out the spray skirt and fix so I have all the life jacket in order.
Okay.
Check if I have some bookings to take care about.
So people reserve from the day before sometimes?
Yeah, well,
okay.
even month before.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It starts in January.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So then just waiting for the people to come.
All right.
Quite often they write down they should be here at 9 o'clock and then they show up 10 o'clock.
Uh-huh.
A little bit tired on the vacation.
So if they reserve for 9 o'clock and they show up at 10 o'clock, do they still have to pay for the 9 o'clock?
Yeah. If they should have the whole day, they pay for the whole day.
For a full day,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. But you can also rent for a
For
shorter
3
time.
hours.
3 hours.
No, 0 to 3 hours,
0 to 3.
you must say.
So
because
if you want to rent for 1 hour, you still pay for 3 hours.
for 3 hours,
Okay.
yes. It's like on a parking place. You can't pay for less than
Yeah,
what they
Right.
say.
that makes sense.
So, yeah, sometimes people argue, but I tell them it's as much as do for me if you are out for 1 hour or for 3 hours.
Oh, as much work for you, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Show them how to do, how to paddle, everything.
Yeah.
Show the life jackets. They stand here and say, oh, it's too small. No, you should adjust it. I have to tell them.
So you've seen all sorts of difficult customers, I suppose.
Yeah.
But some people understand everything and are fairly easy to work with.
It's very different. Some understand everything and are totally clear with our conditions and everything. And other people, they argue and wonder, oh, must I have a life jacket? Is that common here in Sweden? Is that an order or not? You have to wear it. It's just water. Yeah, I say. So, yeah, it's quite different.
So
people.
in my experience, at places where you have to service the public, it's like maybe the 1 to 5% of the people that are causing like 80 to 90% of the work. You know,
Yeah.
The real difficult customers.
Yeah.
If you didn't have those, it would be a very easy job, but you have to have those.
Yes,
somehow.
I have to have all different.
They come with the territory.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so when you close it for
At
the
6.
season,
Yeah, in the
you close
season,
it
in September,
the end of
yes.
September. Okay. By the time September comes around, are you getting tired of things and ready,
Yeah.
ready to
At
finish?
that time, it's quite nice to put in all boats on the winter place and just do anything else.
Yeah.
But then it's to building kayaks.
Well, that's right.
Yeah.
Building kayaks at the workshop.
Yeah.
It's a whole different kind of.
A whole different life.
Yeah. So you're involved in that too.
Yes.
I was imagining that was Petrus' thing, but
Yeah,
you're-
but I make all the stuff that should be inside. The cockpit, all these rings where you put the hatches on.
Oh yeah, really? Okay.
Everything that is made of
Well, I was
coal fiber,
carbon fiber.
carbon fiber, yes. Everything
I
like
was
that.
looking in the warehouse, and there's a whole corner there with a whole sewing area.
Yeah,
That's your place.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that for
Yeah.
kayak things or other things?
No, the sewing area, that's for my mother.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
She moved here, and she her all the time that she have spare time, then she make things and help us with things and so on. So she fix everything that is broken and make new things as well.
All right, very good.
That's good.
Do you remember the first time I was here?
No, not really. It was a long time ago, and then you have been here so many times. So
Yeah, it all runs together.
yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember the first time?
I somewhat, yeah. What I remember mostly is that I was in a hurry to leave because I was going to get back to Denmark and then on to Greenland or something like that. So I had said I got a train for like sometime in the afternoon, and my last class was till 12.
Yeah.
So I hurried to finish with the teaching.
Yeah.
And then get driven to the train station and get on the train and go back.
Okay.
You remember that?
No, I'm not really.
I had my dry suit on,
Okay.
and I went to the train station still with the dry suit on.
Yeah, exactly.
got on the
Now I
train.
remember. Yeah.
Yeah, with the dry suit on.
Yeah.
And in the little train from Tronos to the next town, I just changed trains. There was hardly anybody. Yeah, there was hardly anybody on that train.
Okay.
So I figured this is a good time. I'll take the dry suit off and
Yes.
change into my clothes. Just
Okay.
I wouldn't have that on. And then the train I got on, that train broke down and stopped on the tracks. Did I tell you about
Okay.
that?
No.
You didn't know about that?
No.
That train stopped on the tracks. And it was hot. It was middle of summer.
Yeah.
Very hot. And so there was no air conditioning in the train when the train stopped. So things started to get really warm.
Yeah.
And the conductors came around and said, well, we'll see what's going on. We sat there for a total of 3 hours.
3 hours. So you missed your next train.
Oh, yeah, totally. Now, I was trying to get to Copenhagen by, it would have been like 5 or 6 in the afternoon. I got there about after midnight.
Oh.
I was told that it was one of those things where the train broke down, but who had to fix it was a jurisdictional thing. Like the track people said, well, we just do the track. Everything had been subcontracted.
Yeah.
The track people, and then the people responsible for the engine, the people responsible for the power overhead, and everybody was pointing the finger at somebody else for 3 hours while we sat there on the train. It was bad.
It's complicated with train in Sweden.
Yeah, and then we had to get off the train. We had to climb out of the back of the train and walk along on the tracks for half a mile to some stop where there was a place where there were buses came. They said, get on. Some of these buses are going to Malmo and some of these going to Copenhagen, or some of these, not all of them are going to Malmo or something like that.
Okay.
And we had to try. And most of it's all in Swedish, and I'm trying to figure out what's going on. And I finally get on the bus but then when you get off the bus, you're ready to scream at somebody. Like, what am I supposed to do? And he says, I'm just a bus driver. I just dropped off here.
Done.
The train people are all gone. You can't complain to them. Yeah. And then I think they said, I said, well, what do I do to get to Copenhagen? I don't have a ticket. And they said, well, just tell them that you were on some train that got stopped. The bus driver didn't care.
Okay.
But they don't always check tickets. You're supposed to have a ticket. So I didn't have a ticket for the right train, but I said I'll tell them if I do. So they didn't say anything. But it was after midnight I got back to Copenhagen. It was bad. But
really bad.
The only good thing was that when that first little train from Tronos, I took the dry suit off.
Yeah.
If I still had the dry suit on the crowded train with no place to change, that would have been even worse.
Yeah.
But that was that. And I think when I got back, I forget if I tried to get a refund on the ticket because they had a lot of nerve to want me to pay money for that disaster. 3 hours on the train. But anyway, the next time I came here, it was much better.
Yeah. And then you got a son here as well.
I got what?
You got a son here.
Oh, you
Small Dubside.
You got to be careful with that. You got to be in trouble with that.
It's what's the name in English?
Robot mower?
Yeah, mobile mower.
Robot lawnmower.
Robot lawnmower.
Robot mower, yeah.
Yeah.
I hooked it up for you.
Yeah. You fixed that, and that was very nice.
It was keeping the lawn mowed for
so
quite some
then
time.
he got the name. Every such things in Sweden got a name.
Okay.
So they are very personally.
All right.
And this one has your name.
You called it Dubside Junior.
Yeah,
All right.
Dubside Junior.
But Dubside Junior now is
He's
broken.
laying.
It's in
No,
the
he's
garage?
not. He's not broken, and we check if he's still breathing. Yes, he did.
They don't exactly breathe.
Yeah.
Still got
No,
power.
but he got power in the batteries. So when we can put out this new wire, for the wire is broken.
Oh, the wire got that would stop.
Yeah.
That would then he,
So therefore he hasn't worked for
all right.
not last year and not this year.
Well, next
But
year maybe
we
I'll come
hope
and fix
so.
the wire.
Yeah, good.
All right.
Then maybe we are finished with the work in our garden.
Yeah. Well, there's still some yard still needs.
Yeah, we
fixing
tried to make a new front and make
Front walkway thing, yeah.
better
Yeah.
place.
But during the summer you're hardly ever there.
No,
Yeah,
so that's the problem.
I'm there. It's nice to have
Yeah.
a whole empty house all to myself. It's like having a giant hotel.
Yeah,
Nobody
yeah.
else there. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good for you. No, we rather be in the boat. That's
Yeah.
nice to be.
So in the summertime you stay
sailing.
down here on this
Yeah.
on your sailing
Sailing boat.
yacht. Yeah. Tell me the basic rundown of what Petrus Kajak has, what services they offer, etc., etc. But tell me all of that in Swedish.
About what you say?
Just what this
What
is
we are.
what we do, what
What
you do,
we do.
what you have, and what you rent, and what the business is. Tell me that in
Yeah.
Swedish.
Vår affärsidé är att få ut så många som möjligt på vattnet i kajaker, kanadensare, motorbåtar eller segelbåtar om sommaren. Och på hösten, vintern och våren så erbjuder vi kurser för att bygga egna kajaker.
Very good. I like to have different languages on my
Yeah.
podcast. Now you also speak German.
Ja,
Can you tell me all that in German?
nein, das weiß ich nicht. Och, also, hier kann man kommen und mieten Kayaks, Canadian Canoe, auch Motorboote und Segelboote. Und dann im Winter, dann kann man auch bauen ein eigenes Boot, Kayaks. Ja.
And what
Ungefähr
am I
so.
supposed to say? Danke, isn't that
Ja,
it?
danke.
Or
Tack.
tack if
Ja.
it's Swedish.
Yeah.
Or
I
thank you if it's
I
English.
like languages.
Yes.
And
Do you know any other ones?
I didn't know then how. For me, it was quite easy to learn Deutsch,
Oh, yeah?
so, German.
Okay.
I have heard it for a long time,
Okay.
several years,
Yeah.
and then I think that I must try to speak as well.
Yeah.
So I tried to, and together with English and this German, then maybe it works a little bit. And I ask people here that come. It's a lot of people from
A lot
German.
of German.
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then I asked, how do you say that? How do you say that? And is that wrong or right? And so on. And now I can speak. And nowadays they ask me, how many years have you lived in Germany? And where do you live?
Wow. That's pretty good.
So my English is worse now than
Yeah?
my Deutsch. So that's not so good. I will also have a better English because that's also very good for all the people that comes from Netherlands, England, sometimes even Danish people
Yeah.
want to speak English instead of
okay.
Swedish.
Yeah.
I don't know why they are so scared. And then other
if people talk to you in Danish, you can sort of figure out what they're saying.
Yeah,
in
yeah.
Swedish?
Yeah.
And Norwegian as well.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
And quite often they understand Swedish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it can be a word here and there
Yeah.
that you need to explain, but otherwise it work.
All right. Do you get any people from, say, like Estonia or Ukraine or Slovakia? Or
No,
those places?
that's quite unusual.
Okay.
We have some from Poland.
Poland. Okay.
And also Switzerland.
Switzerland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
France.
Okay.
Yeah, Belgium.
Uh-huh.
And so on. So
Right.
it's most of them come from Europe.
Yeah.
And then this year we have some from USA and some from Great Britain as well.
Okay. Very nice.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, thank you for the short interview,
Yeah, thank you.
and I hope to be back here next year.
Yeah, that I hope, really.
Yes.
Yeah,
All right.
you're welcome.
And there you have Petrus and Irene of Petrus Kajak. Recorded August 8th, 2024 at their place of business in Tranås, Sweden on Lake Sommen in the south part of Sweden. And I apologize if you listen carefully, you can hear that the audio quality of the interview with Irene is not quite up to my standards. I had to rely on my secondary backup recording equipment for that one. Check out their website, petruskajak.com. That's Petruskajak, different spelling there. Well, if I get back there next year, maybe I can interview some of the other interesting people to be found in that area. There's a guy across the lake from Petrus, from Canada. I think his wife is Swedish. And they own this little island. And they have this rather old historic house which they've filled up with, I think, artwork and sculpture and things. Maybe in the future you'll hear from them directly. On the Dubcast with Dubside.